Today's topic, we're going to have one of a few. We're going to kind of bounce all over the place on this one, but the main thing is how you're going to make it in the music industry during this time of COVID-19. So, a lot of people out there, they're trying to make it out there, and a lot of artists are trying to do what they do in the world of COVID-19. So we get some people to tell us what we need to do. That's sort of like the foundation of what we got going on. But before any further, let's go ahead and introduce our esteemed panel of professionals we have here today. Joining us now, first of all, we have my man on the screen right here. He has a wealth of experience in the music industry, a wealth of knowledge. He runs Midnight Records, online record store. He will tell you a little bit more about that right now, man. Joining us now, we have my man Sam. Sam, what's going on, man?
How's it going? How's it going?
Yeah, Sam. So tell us real quick a little
Good.
bit about Midnight Records and what's going on now with it.
Okay, yeah, as you know, we're we had a storefront for over 25 years, but now we're online. And what we're doing, what I've been doing basically online, is just working with people for as helping them with their websites and helping them promote and introducing them to a new way, like you're saying, due to this pandemic, with QR codes, and also letting them know different ways about how to use their social media properly, and getting their product out there.
Okay, so QR codes and all that. Okay, very good, very good. So you're online only, and what's the website in case people want to check it out while we're on with you?
MidnightRecords1.com.
Okay, okay. So go ahead, you guys can check that out while we go along right now. Secondly, we got here in the house my man right here doing it real big for you. He's managed a whole lot of folks in the music industry, a lot of names, a lot of big time people. I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit more about that. Got my man Jazzy, Jazzy Management. Jazzy, what's going on, man?
Hey now, yeah, I'm Jazzy. Seems more lately I've been mentoring and educating managers. I've managed quite a few artists. I won't spit a lot of those names out, but now I think it's more important now to kind of educate these managers that's grabbing these titles but don't really know the ins and outs and don't really know what it takes to really manage an artist. They just have titles, so we'll get into that. But
Mm-hmm.
we also have a company that register copyright. We do administrating because that's where a lot of artists, hip hop and R&B artists, are leaking when it comes to business. They don't properly register or copyright their music, but they constantly put music out. So that's a little bit about what we're gonna be speaking on.
Okay, well we'll do that. We'll definitely talk about that. I do got some specific questions in regards to that. I'm glad you kind of brought that up, man, because that's something I want to bring to the table. All right. So we'll talk about that as we go along this afternoon in this hour period, and of course, you can't have a music industry in this business at all without having an attorney here, and we got an attorney extraordinaire right here right now. We got my man Ben McLean. Ben, how you doing?
Hey, Cindy. Hey, MD. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me back
Yeah.
um, to this. I know last time it was in person, so hopefully we can do that again soon.
Yeah, definitely. I do miss seeing you all in person as well. Now we got also too Jay. I don't know, Jay. Can you hear me? Are you there, Jay? Jay Wazinski? Any
I don't
power?
see
Can you hear
Jay.
me? I don't
I
see
don't
you
see
here
Jay
yet.
popping up.
Okay, you said he was
But
here, but okay, I'll see if I can find Jay.
yeah,
All right, but we can
yeah.
go ahead.
But with me, I've been doing music law a long time. But really, it's entertainment. Now everything kind of merges together: film, TV, reality shows, fashion, influencers, and you kind of have to be on top of all those things and try to time together if you can. That's like the perfect artist would be able to cross all those platforms. But we rep songwriters, artists, producers, managers, small labels, small publishers. And if anybody needs any help, that's what we do. I'm in North Hollywood.
Okay, absolutely. That's good. That's good. Now let's go ahead and start with you, Jazzy. Now let's start with the managers. Now, one thing that we used to always talk about that we always used to see is the difference between a manager and a momager. So can you go ahead and express a little bit more about that? I know we used to talk about that, and I waited probably about 10 years to ask you about that. So can you go ahead and shed a little light on what that's all about there?
Yeah, mainly what I used to really go hard on, and people used to think I was being a little just going a little tough on the managers. But where artists make the mistake, they hire their mothers, their fathers, their homeboys, their cousins, aunties to manage them. But you have to have knowledge of what you're getting into. So a lot of these cats, a lot of the fathers and mothers, they have titles, but they don't know the business. And lately, with the independent game, it's very important that the manager at least know the basics. I have a lot of artists reaching out to me and they say that they need their stuff registered. I said, okay, what's your PRO? And then they like, hold on, let me put my manager on the phone. And the manager gets on the phone and doesn't know what a PRO is. Then I say, is the music copywritten? Because some people reach out to me. I'm pretty sure Ben knows what I'm talking about. Some people reach out and they say, hey, we looking for a song to put in this movie. So I talk to the manager and I ask them, is the song copywritten? They say, yeah, I'm with ASCAP. I say, once again, is the song copywritten? This is the manager. The manager says, yes, I'm with ASCAP. So I say, I try not to embarrass the manager when they sit next to the artist, because the artist hired this manager, and I don't want to come off, mean or anything. And I asked the manager one more time. I said, is the song copywritten? And they seem to think ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC copyrights their content. So not only am I now having to educate the manager, the artist is like, wait a minute, this is my manager, and they get a little embarrassed, and then it seems like I'm creating enemies, So I say it shouldn't be creating an enemy, but the managers have titles and they don't know the business. So the list goes on. There's so many artists that think that since they're signed up with ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, once they register the song, it's copywritten. It's not. So I say, stop hiring mothers, fathers, homeboys, cousins. Get someone that's really knowledgeable, or get you an entertainment attorney. And we all got to get paid, right. But it's just now we at a state of emergency. I won't jump ahead, but we created a little movement where we educate, and we have a night Zoom calls where we, kind of we encourage managers to jump on the phone and get some, industry knowledge before they get to saying they're managers. Because right now you're in training, and I can go on, but that's kind of briefly what I go through on a day-to-day basis. And you'd be amazed at how many artists got records on the radio, got a nice amount of streams, but the songs has never been, they start the process, but it's incomplete in their PRO. So, we started a company where we're trying to help these guys, man, because it's ridiculous how many songs that's out there that's not registered or copywritten.
That's actually on the radio.
That's actually on the radio. Never been copywritten, never been registered. And when you say registered, some of them think that's copyright. And when you say copyright, they think it's registered, and they have managers. No disrespect to the managers, but these artists are hiring people that's in training that don't have a clue of what it takes to be a manager. They just, it's crazy, man.
Okay. Well, let's go back a little bit, and I'm glad that you joined us. It's good to get you there. Now let's go back a little bit. PR codes, Jazzy. What is a PR code? The people that may not know that.
You mean PR? Do you mean PRO, then?
I'm sorry, PRO.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, PRO. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jazzy.
Hey Ben, thanks for chiming in on a PR code.
Yeah,
PRO is a performance rights organization. And you have your performance rights organization. That's your publishing. That's where you go. They administer your publishing. And then you have mechanical rights organizations. That's like Harry Fox, Sound Exchange. I don't want to give up a whole lot of game on here, man, because some of these artists, we giving up a lot of free information, but
Right.
you have
Well,
your
but
performance rights
Jazzy,
organization.
are the ones that you tell people about usually BMI and ASCAP mostly, or
Well, CSAC is not real popular with the hip hop artists, so we mainly they pretty much start with ASCAP and BMI, and now a lot of artists are doing both.
Mhm.
Very seldom do a hip hop artist, because I mainly deal with hip hop artists and R&B artists. They pretty much have ASCAP and BMI. Not a lot of them are have
CSAC.
knowledge of know about CSAC.
Well,
Can I piggyback?
Yeah.
Can I piggyback on what Jazzy said
Yeah, go ahead.
about for the managers? He's exactly right, because far as what he's saying, as far as educating them on the difference of things, I'll ask them, and I'm not going to go fully into that, but I'll ask them. I say, hey, did you register your music with SoundScan? And they'll say, oh yeah, I'm with BMI, I'm with ASCAP. I said, no, that doesn't have anything to do with SoundScan.
Right.
So what he's saying is exactly right. As a manager, they get these people that's so-called managing them, and they don't have a clue of the different things the paperwork, what needs to be filled out properly for far as separating that. They think one thing is something that it's not.
Okay.
So I just wanted to piggyback on that. But
Okay.
Jazz is like 100% right.
Right.
Okay, gentlemen. First of all, I'm sort of late, but thank you guys for all coming to this our new type of virtual music seminar. And for those who's looking at us on YouTube, I'm one of the air personalities for the radio show on 900 AM in Los Angeles, and we stream on YouTube and iHeartRadio. And a lot of people that's listening to us on YouTube, I spoke with you probably on phones, emails, and things. I'm MD. For those who's never seen me before, I'm the old geezer. All right. And we try to do this annually at a facility. We was booked last year in September to do Industry Connects at the Carson Civic Center in Carson. So we plan to do that October the 30th of this year. Hopefully that the pandemic don't kill it again. And hopefully that we can get everybody in the house so you can meet these gentlemen that you see on the screen live. It's like they'll tell you, it's more fun to be at a facility where you can meet people's face to face versus here on Zoom or any other type of streaming process that they created for us to keep communications open. Ben, his attorney, Jazzy, he's a manager. Sam, he's a longtime retailer and promotional and marketing. And somebody else I can't make out. Is that you, Jay? Who's that? I see Ben. I see.
Yeah, we got Ben, Sam, Jazzy, and Tay Rizzo's at the bottom.
Oh, that's Tay Rizzo. What's up, Tay?
Tay Rizzo.
Yeah. So we're trying to bring to the table knowledge to you guys. We want to give you a lot of game because trust me, what you already heard, you should have already spent 10 grand. All right. You already should have spent 10 grand for this information. And this is just introduction. And the music business is very complex. It's no joke. It's no game. You're either in the business to make money or you're in the business to just goof off. And we don't want the goof offs. We want the serious artists, labels, and producers who's trying to make a go at this financially and professionally. And if you're not trying to do either of those two things, then you're wasting not our time, but you're wasting your time as well. So now we're going to get along. We're going to get going. Let's start with some topics so we can really get this going. Let's kind of stick with one. We'll work around the table. As everybody know, business is the hardest part of the music business. Everybody think they can rap. There are people think they can sing. A lot of guys think they can produce and blah, blah, blah. And you might be good doing all those things. You might be even great. But if you don't have the business aspect embedded into your mind, I'm going to tell you, you ain't going nowhere, period. You're going to be stalemate for the rest of your career. So we're here to try to get you business-minded, orientated. So therefore, you'll understand the business a little bit more thoroughly. We have these specialists here and right in front of you. And these cats, you're looking at $1 million worth of information. All right, $1 million. I ain't talking about that bull $2 and $15 and $100 situation. You're looking at $1 million. You're looking at Sam. You're looking at Ben. You're looking at Jazzy. You're looking at Dundee. You're looking at myself. So you have radio. You have production. You have marketing. You have business. You have everything right here among us. And we had a few more supposed to be chiming in with us. Apparently they couldn't make it. So we're going to get it going on because we can't wait no longer for anybody else to join us. So I would like to say, let's start with the music business first. How they can start their labels, how they can get themselves organized and get themselves on the right track. Because if you don't get this together, I don't care how much production you do. I don't care how many music videos you do. I don't care how anything you're doing on the production end of this business. You're not going nowhere if you don't understand the business, period. If I'm wrong on this, guys, chime in and tell me I'm wrong. You know, if they've not business orientated, can they go any further with their talent where they're going to be making millions, or are they just wasting their time? So let's start with this business part, music business. I'm going to ask Ben, what is the first thing an individual need to do to get their music career rolling?
Well, the basic thing, I mean, if you're an artist, you have to create something that people want to hear. So, you know, whether it's a group or you're a solo artist, you have to come up with a song or songs that people are going to want to hear, hopefully, you know, and you can self-release stuff these days, and you should. I mean, you can set up a label, by the way, if you want, but most of the time artists, when they're brand new, are just putting stuff out under their name, and you really should have a cool name that nobody else has. I mean, that's the biggest thing I see artists having problems with is a trade. You know, they come up with a name that somebody else has got, and then you have what you have to call a trademark dispute, because a name is a trademark, like a brand. You know, when you come up with a name, that's your brand. So, you know, Prince was a very popular brand. Madonna, you know, Jay-Z. These are all popular brands that make millions, billions of dollars over time. You know, they branded those names. They trademarked those names. So I think it's really important to come out of the box with something that's unique. Not only the music, but just a name, so you don't have any problems or conflicts with that. But it's the same thing with a label. If you want to start a label, like like how Def Jam started or Interscope, those were all, you know, new companies at some point. Somebody came up with those names. You want to make sure you're picking a name that nobody else has, so you can brand that and make a lot of money off it in the future instead of fighting with people about who owns what. So I mean, those are some basic things you really need to do at the beginning.
Right. So how could you make sure that you have a name that nobody else has?
Yeah, the easiest way is just do a Google search, man. You can do a Google search, put it in there. If anybody's really using a name in a legitimate way, they're gonna if they're selling something or streaming something or doing shows, they're gonna show up on a Google search. You know, go scroll down a little bit, you know, because somebody might be in Maine and they put out one little single 5 years ago. I don't know if I'd even worry about that, but they might show up. But anybody who's active is going to be right at the top of a search. The other thing they can do is go to the S Trademark Office. You can Google that, and there's a link there, and you can search a trademark name to see if anybody's registered it. And it's real easy. There's a box you could just type in, and it'll say if it's available or if somebody's already got it. You know, so on those two levels, if you've done that and you find out that nobody's got the name, you're probably okay. You know, but a lot of people don't even bother with that. They just go for it, and they don't even think. And then later somebody comes out of the woodwork saying, "Hey, I've been using that name for 5 or 10 years. You got to stop." And then you do have to stop unless you want to buy it. Then the other thing, then at that point, you either want to fight about it or you could try to buy out the other people. But who needs the hassle of all that?
Okay, Sam, I have all those things taken care of. I got my own name. I got everything now. I got good music production. I believe it's good music production. Now I wanted to get it out there. I wanted to sell. I wanted to at least start making the wheels spin. I come to you. What can you do to get me going as an artist with my music?
Well, as an artist, whatever you got complete already, I would look at it and I would recommend that you to make sure that it is registered with SoundScan. And the reason why I would make sure that it is registered with SoundScan is because you don't want to be doing all this work and you're invisible and you're not showing up really to the people who would count for, And the main thing, and I think everybody on this call would agree, I would want the person, if they're either or, if they're doing it themselves or if they're doing it with a label, I would recommend that they have a budget. And within creating that budget, I would recommend that they go, do it legitimately. If they're starting their company, go to the bank and set something up. If you're out here, you can go to Chase. They have a community center that they just opened up in the bank. And the people are more than willing to work with you and get you in the right direction. And but I would start off with that, and I would recommend that they use all the platforms. One of the platforms they can use to distribute their music would be TuneCore. And it's not that expensive. You would use TuneCore, and once again, like I said, they would give you the things you would need. Nowadays it's rare that you're doing physical, but most likely you get the ISRC code, which is a digital code. So that is a code that you're going to need for your music to register. And else you're just going to be really wasting your time. You're just going to be making music just to be making music.
All right, Jazzy. Okay, I got my music. I got everything that Ben and Sam just said, and I'm ready to really roll for the shows and doing all this good stuff. Now I need a manager. As a manager, what would you do next for my career? I got those things in places. Now I think I'm ready for a manager.
Well, I think a lot of times artists think they're ready for managers when they're not all the way there yet, and they get a little offended. But when I look into artists, and right now with the music business the way it is, I'm not trying. Me personally, this is me. I stay away from the liabilities. I sit down before I present any paperwork with an artist. I let them know. And some people say I lay down the law, but I don't call it laying down the law. But I refuse at 50 something. I'm over 50 years old, almost 55. I refuse to put myself and my family in a position where my day-to-day activities as far as me managing would put my family in danger. And a lot of artists right now, that's why I stay away from a lot of the blood and crip artists. No disrespect to that, but me as a person, I try not to manage liabilities, and no disrespect to the gangster rappers, me personally, there are liabilities and it cuts into my money. It's certain endorsement deals and endorsement situations and relationships that I have that automatically, once they see this person's social media, he's going at another person due to a color or a gang affiliation, they cut out a lot of artists, and I sit them down. If that's the route they take, and I let them know, me personally, I can't travel that route. For one, a lot of my relationships, I try to, this business is 10% talent and 90% business. So I want to maintain my relationships. It's certain endorsement deals and certain commercials that I'm not going to get dealing with certain liabilities. So I talk to the artists and let them know whether I'm a pass on them. And a lot of them get offended, like, man, I'm better than the person you represented a couple of years ago. It's nothing personal. I don't deal with liabilities. But to answer the question, I make sure the artists got a nice team, because some artists have a misconception of a manager. My job as a manager is not to pay for your videos, provide transportation, give you money every day, give you bundles of money, give you bundles of money to go to the strip club. You know, I think too, artists get investor and manager mixed up. So I break it down and explain to them the job of a manager. My job as a manager is to look out for your best interest, not, you know, provide, you know, pay your day-to-day bills and stuff like that. So
okay, but Tay, now I don't think you got a chance to introduce yourself. First of all, that's what I need you to do. Let everybody know who you are, what you represent in this music business, so they can get a good idea who you are.
We did an introduction already.
Oh, you did? I must have missed that one.
I don't think Tay got to chime in though.
Say that again.
I don't think Tay got to chime in at all.
No, he didn't.
Right, that's what I thought. So, Tay, are you there?
Oh, I thought he said that.
He's there?
Yes. Yeah, Tay,
yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, so far, what do you think about it, Tay Rizzo, man? You actually on as a guest. So what do you think about it so far? You agree what's going on?
So far, it's good. Good knowledge on everything that's been said. As far as what Jazzy just said, I agree with that 100%. Because a lot of people take that gang stuff into the industry and thinking like you're gonna pop, you're gonna end your career faster than you can start it. And as far as the business side of things, everybody don't really register everything that they need to register, and they think that they're gonna get far, and they get mad when they don't get far because they don't think about the business side. And I think they overlook the sound scan, how to be registered, how to be a part of the billboard, how to get their own website to get their own money coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tay is a guest, huh? He's okay. He's not one of the panelists.
Yeah, and then also just to let you know, DJ Spin just now got on. Spin, what's up, man?
Oh, where you at?
What's good? What's good?
Hey, what up? Hey, introduce yourself right quick. You're late, bird. That's right. We'll find you $300,000.
I'm out getting my Pfizer shot right now, man.
Oh, okay. Now you got scared, so now you want to get the shot now.
Well, no, you know I'm about to go to Houston, man. So I gotta get ready for that. I'm leaving tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We were just going around the table. Introduce yourself to the public out there. We're on YouTube and a lot of other social media platforms. Let everybody know who you are and what you do.
All right. DJ Spin, resident DJ for the radio show. I mean, you know, I do a little bit of everything right here.
Mm-hmm. Who's washing dishes? Somebody washing dishes.
Yeah, somebody's washing dishes. I don't know who that is. So please, if you can mute that, please.
Somebody need to mute their mic.
Mike, whoever's washing dishes. I don't know. Let me. I'm out to go. I don't know who that is. Thank you, whoever stopped.
Is that any of you guys?
Yeah.
I just muted my mic.
Okay, how about you, Sam? Is that you back there doing all that?
Unless it's somebody else here I don't know about. Somebody else here I don't know about?
Yeah, you got somebody on here we don't know about.
Okay.
I see everybody, and they got puzzled. They puzzled in face too.
Okay, Jay Wazinski, are you there? Okay, I don't know. Maybe somebody might.
That might be Jay because I don't see him.
Okay, I know he's supposed to join us, and the city was here. Okay, anyway, MD, go ahead and continue.
Okay. All right. So, I lost track of my thought. Mm-hmm. I thought I was in an earthquake for a minute. I'm ready to break and run. Yeah. So, okay, DJ Span was introducing himself. So, okay, Span, you do a lot of clubs. What can an artist do to get some spins at a club facility where you're DJing at? How could they approach you and make that happen?
Well, I always like artists to, after they perform, just come holler at me and say, what did you think about my tracks? Is there a chance that you could, play it in your rotation? But just, take that initiation. What do you think? Take that initiation to come up to me and talk to me. You know what I mean? A lot of artists don't do that. I don't know whether they just afraid or shy, but that's what it takes to get your music out there. You got to get it to the DJs. I mean, wherever you at, wherever you perform,
You need to connect with your DJ. You know,
And I want to put this out there for all your audience listening to us on YouTube or any other social media platform. None of this stuff is free. So if he's going to spend you, I'm going to let you know. If he don't want to tell you, I'm going to tell you. He's going to charge you because that's the game. Every time we play your record, whether it's radio or at a club, that's promotions. That's just like looking at television and seeing a commercial coming on. Television is not putting those commercials on for free. We have an audience. You need our audience, and you want our audience to know that you have music that you're bringing out, and that's going to cost. That's like us advertising you at on our platform, and there's a cost because it costs us to be on that platform.
right.
We don't pay the bills. It's like the attorney there. He don't pay his bills to stay in his office. He's going to be out there in the street in a tent doing his legal business. Or Jazzy's not going to be in his office as a manager. He's going to have a tent too out there like a homeless person trying to work with you under a tent. So we have to pay bills just like you have to pay bills. You go to the studio, you pay the engineer and the studio facility so much money an hour to record. So why can't you pay us to give you the services that the professional service that you need to take that recording session to the next level? So just like the radio show, we charge for rotation. We didn't for a while, but we realized when we started getting high electric bills and things like that, and we had no money to cover it, and we're doing all this for you, we had to make our minds up to start charging you guys to get your music played, get you an interview, anything to get you out there to promote you. Because the radio show, like DJ Spin, we in the communication business. Our job is put the word out there for you, not just in a one geographic area, but we try to put the word out for you nationally. For the radio show, it's internationally. So that costs us to do that. So we have to charge you to do what we need to do. You need legal service and you're in a bind and you need to get out of trouble, you need an attorney. Well, Ben can't do that for free, especially if he's trying to get you some money or get you out of trouble. Because if you rob the bank and need an attorney to get yourself out of trouble, they ain't gonna do it for you for free. You either pay them or go to jail.
MD,
So-
can I touch on this real quick? Because it was something.
Go ahead and touch it.
This is something that just got brought to my attention probably about 6 or 7 months ago, and I didn't know artists were still doing this. The poor man's copyright. Someone actually came to me. I was at an event, and they told me about the poor man's copyright. If you're unfamiliar with that, that's when you basically, I don't know, I'm just giving you the short
Mail
version.
it to you.
Mail it to yourself. And that's considered a copyright. I didn't know
old
artists were
school.
still doing that. So can you guys express yourself on that right there?
That's
why?
being category.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Ben. Everybody can actually express themselves on that.
But
we'll
he's
start
more
with
of
you,
an
Ben.
attorney.
Yeah, Ben.
He's
start
more of
with
an
that.
attorney, and he specializes in that.
Right. I want you to go ahead. Go ahead, Ben.
Do
Start
that
with
still work, Ben?
Okay. Well, I mean, it's one. Here's the thing. You know, if you ever had to go into court and prove, like, if you write a song and you say it's yours and it's your copyright, and somebody else is challenging that, saying they wrote it before you did, a poor man's copyright's not gonna. It's not what they call undeniable proof, like a registered copyright would be from the federal government. If you have a registered copyright from the federal government, it's very hard to overcome that. But you know, when you mail something to yourself, there's a date on it, right? But the thing is, you could steam that letter open. I've done it myself, so I know it's possible. And you could slip something out and slip something else in, and judges know that. So that's why that's not a foolproof method of doing it, and it's a lazy method. Now, it's not really that expensive to register with the Copyright Office. You can pop online and do it now. I don't know, it's $35 to $55 or something. But you know, if you have a valuable copyright, something you're really going to monetize and put your career on the line for, it's definitely worth, you know, protecting that, so you don't have to again look over your shoulder and worry if you really safeguarded it, you know. So that's but Dundee, if that's all you got, at least that's some proof, because there is a date on it, but it's a little flimsy.
Right. Very flimsy.
Okay. Okay.
Who was that?
Okay. Well, I got another question here from the
Hey, can I say something? Can I say something real quick before you sit on it?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, that jumped back again to what I said earlier, what he just said. He said 35 to $50. It goes back to what I just said. If you're going to be an artist or a label, you have to have a budget. If you're going to have a budget, you need to go to the bank and set up your paperwork.
Yeah.
So as you see, everything is going to cost you, but what you're doing, you're investing in yourself. And by the way, by taking Ben's route, it's the proper way to protect you even better. So spend that 35 to $50. And I hate to even say this. Most artists smoke marijuana. That's a blunt.
Right, of course.
So go ahead and spend that money. But go ahead, Dundee.
Yeah. Well, before we go any further, I think we got a question from IG right here.
Go ahead.
Who we got here? What's up, man? Talk to me.
Chris.
Name
Chris,
and city.
Chris, man, where you from, man?
Temple Hills, Maryland.
Okay, Chris, what's going on, man? We got some industry folks here. Welcome to the radio show presents the Industry Connects, the Edutain Us music event we got here, webinar. So you got an industry question? Go ahead and ask our panel about anything related to the music industry.
Oh man, it's a lot of questions, man.
Go ahead.
It's a lot. I got
One at a time. One at a time.
Give me two.
Give you two. All right. So when it comes, what's better to sign on a deal, a publishing deal, or like a management deal?
Anybody want to expand on that? What's better to sign, a publishing deal or a management deal?
Those are two
separate things. Those are
Yeah,
two
those
separate.
two.
Yeah.
When you say management deal,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
All right. So say if I'm getting managed by like Rock Nation, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And let me see. I don't know how to explain that. I just seen so many types of deals there are.
So what you're saying, you're looking for management, and you want to know what's the best way of going about receiving management from what company?
Okay, here's the question. What type of deal would be more proper to have more income come into? What type of deal do you think is more suitable for artists to have more income to come into?
Well, your income, to me, your income's going to base on what kind of good music you putting out there for the public to buy, and how well you perform on stage, how well you commercialize yourself as an artist. There's no deal that's going to tell you one's going to make more money than the other.
Go ahead, Jazzy.
Let me chime in. Well, basically, it's based on your team. I tell people all the time, it's based on your team. Your manager has to be a knowledgeable manager. If you have someone doing your social media, they have to be damn good at it. If you have a street team, they have to be damn good at it. Those broaden your chances of being a successful artist. There's a lot of famous rappers and singers, but there's not a lot of successful ones. You know what I mean by famous? You know, there's some that's still doing the fake it till they make it. If you put a hell of a team together, a good manager that's not going to be a yes man, that's not going to agree when you put some garbage out there, your whole team don't tell you that the song is terrible. You know, you have to put a team together that really has your back, and each person plays their position. Your marketing team is the marketing team. Your management team is the management team. Your street team is the street team, you know, and so on. And then get a good PR. You know, like we said earlier, you got to have a budget. But the music industry is like a roll of the dice. But if you put a team together and you got a budget, that broadens your chances. That's Jazzy. That's me. That's what I think.
I agree with that, Jazz. I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree with that also, 100%.
Yeah, because a publishing deal, that's for a person who wants to be a songwriter. If you're going to be a songwriter, then you're going to have to publish an artist. That's not really an artist deal, unless you consider yourself as a songwriter artist, and you're mixing two different entities together, and now you're splitting yourself in half. Because now you got to concentrate on writing music, and then you got to concentrate on performing music. And I don't know too many artists that can do both effectively. You can do it, but one's going to take away from the other sooner or later. You know, because it's real hard work to write a song, because I wrote songs myself, and that's no joke. But being an artist is no joke either. A lot of you artists understand you guys got to at least rehearsal an average of about at least 6 to 8 hours a day to perfect themselves on for stage. When you see people like Beyonce and Jay-Z, you guys under the impression that these people don't rehearse at all. And that ain't real.
That's a job.
That ain't real. You don't see them rehearsing because they don't supposed to show themselves rehearsing. But you'll see they rehearse when you buy your $500 ticket and see them on stage.
See that show.
Yeah.
And real quick too, he mentioned a management deal.
Yeah.
It's really not a management deal. It goes back to what Jazzy said. You need to hire a professional. Jazzy is a professional. Mm-hmm. And you need to have everything lined up. Jazzy, just to give an example, like Jazzy said, if he was to manage you, he's not your financer. He's just going to manage your career. So the best way to choose a manager, it's not a manager deal, is to choose a professional, not the homie, not your mom, not your sister, not your cousin, a professional. That's your best management.
And unless your mom, your homie have a bachelor's degree in business administration.
Well, if that's what they do, that's different. But if they're not doing that,
right?
If it's just a homie, if you're gonna take the homie off the block from slanging dope, well, now he gonna manage you. That's different.
Right. That ain't a good thing. That ain't a good look.
But if that's what he does, you know,
it's something else. Yeah. It's something else for the artists out there. This just me. I'm noticing a lot of artists, and I'm not going to call them groupies, but you check this out. I've been witnessing this. I get approached by a lot of hip hop artists. They approach me. What I'm seeing though, if somebody pulls up, and I don't know what this person does, but he pulls up. He has a Rolex watch on. He's in a Rolls Royce. He's dressed real nice. It seems to me that these artists are getting a misconception of a person that looks, and they look the look, but they don't have knowledge. These artists now are gravitating to those guys, but once again, like we said earlier, they're putting out music, and it's blowing my mind at the percentage of artists that's continuing to put music out that's not copywritten, that's not registered. Their names are not trademarked.
Right.
And the list goes on, and you ask their manager what a PRO is, and the manager don't know. Oh, my attorney. Hey, then if you're going to put everything on your attorney, what position are you playing? And I say that to say, artists, stop getting, excited when a person pulls up with all these lavish things and say he want to manage you. He started a management company. Unless that person has a team that, does certain things and he may have a title, I understand. If he has a team and he's doing what he's supposed to do, he got a person that's doing your administrating, making sure your copyrights are done, your split sheets when you go into the studio, stop getting excited and I don't want to use the word groupie, but they get more excited and their hopes go sky high when they see people like that. But when a person like me, I'm not a Hollywood cat. I don't wear a lot of jewelry and all that, but I'm damn good when it comes to knowledge of the business. And what I don't know, I have an entertainment attorney that I pick up the phone and call, so I won't put my foot in my mouth and say something I don't know what I'm talking about. When I go into meetings, I listen and then I speak, and they know I know how to speak the language. But I have meeting after meeting after meeting with hip hop artists, and they manage. I say, we come to the meeting, the manager is there, and then I ask the manager something very simple.
I'm okay right now.
I tell the manager,
I'm
artist
right now. I'm in a meeting actually. I'm in a meeting right now. Thanks, man.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, Spin, go ahead and mute that mic. Spin, mute your mic there. If you had a conversation, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jazzy.
And I just say to the artists out there, man, no disrespect to the homies with the fat banks and the Rolls Royces, but all I'm saying is get you a knowledgeable person before you go meeting with a label or investor that's really knowledgeable of the business. Even get an entertainment attorney to teach you the language. Like, let that attorney, you got to pay him, go sit in on that meeting and let him speak for you. Because us that know the business, we know when we deal with people that's not knowledgeable of the business and don't really know the business.
Exactly. Hey,
for-
but
and
Jazz,
go ahead.
Jazz, hold on real quick, Jazz, can you let them know real quick what happens when your music isn't copywritten and registered?
Wait,
What can happen?
hold on, Jazz. Before you speak on that, anybody that's not speaking, can you do me a favor and mute your mic? Can you mute your mic if you're not speaking? Okay. Also on IG, if you're not speaking, please mute your mic. Okay.
Hey, give me a
very much.
second. I'm gonna leave out
Could you hear me?
and join right back because my connection is kind of messing up. So just give me a second.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Could you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah,
hear you.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, did you hear that say, Jazz?
Yeah. I'll say something, and then I'm gonna let Ben say something too.
Okay.
When artists Ben could go deeper on this because
Right.
he has. But I'm gonna say what I've experienced when an artist come to me anyway, and because like I said, I know people that reach out to me and they want to get their music on certain platforms. They want to get it on the Spotify playlist, and I have relationships with curators. I ask the artist, is it copywritten and it's registered? A lot of times, unfortunately, their stuff isn't. But say you don't have a team, you don't have an entertainment attorney, you don't have a manager, and it's thousands of artists that's putting music out that's not registered, that's not copywritten. It goes into what they call black box. That's unclaimed royalties. And I'll stop there, and Ben can can go from there.
Wow.
So you know where I'm going.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's okay. All
And
right.
for those who listen to us on YouTube, you artists, I need you guys to do one thing. Go to the dictionary and look up the word manager. Understand the terminology of manager, because a manager is a person that would direct you in the right direction for your musical career. He's not going to finance your company, finance your career, or anything. A manager is a director. He's going to direct you, and he's going to show you the right way to go into this music business if he's a right manager. He's going to have his team already intact.
Okay.
So don't look at a manager no more but that. Because if you're looking for a little bit more other than that, then you're looking for an investor. You're looking for a sponsor. You're looking for somebody to fund your thing. That's who you look for. Investors, sponsors.
Okay. Ben,
Don't look for a manager.
Ben, go ahead and speak on that, and then we'll bring in Angel. Angel got something to say also. Go ahead, Ben.
Okay. Yeah, well, one thing Jazzy brought up that we could talk about this all day. It's really important though. It's because even before you register your copyright, if you're co-writing songs with people or producing tracks with other producers or other people in your group, you need to come into an arrangement between all the collaborators as to who owns what, because you might have 3 people that own that copyright or 3 people that wrote that song. So you don't own the whole copyright. If you did it with 3 people, you'd probably just own a third of it. Or if it's some other split, you'd have to put that in writing. So you just want to make sure that's all clear, because again, you don't want somebody claiming they own something that they don't. That leads to disputes. And the simple thing about copyright, it's like a pie. It's like a pie chart. It adds up to 100%. So if you wrote a song yourself, you own all 100%. But if you wrote it with somebody else, you probably only own 50%, and the other person owns the other 50%. It always has to add up to 100. And if it doesn't, a lot of these platforms and companies that pay out, they won't pay out until it adds up to 100. And that's that's that black box. The Jazzy stuff might be thrown into a black box or a black hole or whatever. It just sits there unclaimed. So you just want to make sure all that stuff is squared away. That's all. And just a real quick, just to answer that one specific question, I found, because I work with artists. A lot of artists are independent. Sometimes they eventually sign deals, usually it seems like they get a manager first, and then if you have a good manager, they'll help you get a record deal or a publishing deal or decide which is the best one. A lot of times there's no order as to what comes first. And sometimes if artists self-release things and blow up a little bit on the internet, they would get approached by a record company or a publishing company before you even have a manager, you know? Yeah. So there's not one way to go about it, but I do, you know, definitely try to have somebody that's smart with some sense advise you on what's the best way to go, so you don't jump into a bad deal. And MD, though, sometimes a publishing deal, you know, by the way, some of those deals are banks, right? That's why you do some of those deals. Some label's going to give you a fat check to sign, or a publisher, but some publishers actually will help you get collaborators with other artists. You know, you could be a writer, but for yourself, but maybe you want to write with Rihanna or somebody like that. They might put you in the room or help get your music in film and TV and stuff. So that's one benefit of getting a publishing deal. And they don't always require you just to write a bunch of songs. Sometimes they sign you because you are an artist and they know you're going to put out your own stuff, you know, and they'll make money. But I find most people do publishing deals just because there's a check attached. But sometimes there's other reasons why you'd want to do it.
And a good example on that is Neo. Before he was an artist, he was a songwriter.
Who's that?
Neo.
Neo who?
The Neo guy.
Neo. Yeah, that's right. He's a great writer.
He was a song. He wrote a lot of songs before he even became an artist, and a lot of people didn't know that. And that's how he got his big break.
Well, that's right. And sometimes a publisher will help turn you into a recording artist too. They might groom you into one.
Yeah, Frank Ocean did the same thing.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Real name. Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
Real name is Lonnie. He used to sit up in my store and write music.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Came out as Frank Ocean. I didn't know who he was.
Yeah. All right, there's something else. Then there's something else we can't leave out. There's individuals that's never wrote a song and never performed, but they create publishing companies. They create a publishing company and they go out and look for writers and producers. And these individuals are business-minded individuals that know that there's revenue on the publishing side. So they start publishing companies and they sign producers, writers. There's so many revenue streams when it comes to music. So artists out there that's trying to in the music business, you could create a publishing company and you've never wrote a song, never produced a song. Find these individuals and you sign them to your production company, and boom, there you go. That's just something else if you want to get into this business and you don't want to be an artist, you don't want to be a man, you could be a publisher.
Okay, that's what's up. Now, hold on a second. We got a question here. Angel's on from IG. Angel, welcome to the radio show presents the Industry Connects Edutainment Music webinar. What's going on, Angel?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
We got you.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You can hear me? Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? I hear all my loving people that I hear, Jazzy and Ben and Sam and MD. I'm on here because I'm a promoter as well as an advertiser. I am a one-stop shop. Anything that you guys need, you guys always call me. If it's an artist or whatever it is.
Breaking up.
Okay.
She's breaking up.
Hold on, Angel, you in a bad area. You need to move.
She's too far from her phone.
Yeah, something's up.
Right. Or she's moving around.
Or you moving around.
I'm too far. I'm too far.
Okay, stay there.
Yeah, get up on
moving around.
Yeah, now go ahead.
No, her phone too far from her.
Yeah, go ahead, Angel.
I just have one thing to say. A topic that I like to get on is the artists. When they come to these shows, I get a lot of artists that want to get paid to do a show when no one knows who they are. Now, what should I do with that?
Tell them to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime he said he want to get paid, tell them to go home.
That's my question. They want to get paid to do a show when nobody knows who they are.
Right. Tell them to go home.
Well, I can suggest something.
What? Is it more hilarious than mine?
Now, if artists want to get paid for doing a show, and I'm pretty sure you may have heard this before, I should do it in my shop. Print up some tickets, and after the artist sells a certain amount of tickets, whatever he sells after a certain amount of tickets is his goes to him or her. So once she covers what needs to be paid for the show, and every ticket is sold after that, goes to them. So they'll be working for their money.
Yeah. What I had suggested to do.
Tickets, a lot of them don't want tickets. That's why I charge them the slot and
They
just
don't
give
wanna
them
perform.
tickets, but they still don't have a fan base. So they asked me after the show, well, how can I get to a paid show where somebody's gonna pay me? First of all, nobody knows you yet. You know,
Well, let them
how can I
know.
get
Let
you
them know
paid
when.
if nobody knows you? So my questions to you guys is like, how do I am I responding it correctly? Am I letting them know the
No,
correct
just
way,
tell
or
them
what should
no.
I do?
Just tell them I give them some tickets and have them sell them.
Right.
Here's 200 tickets. You sell 100, bring me the money, and the other 100 is what you're going to get for the show.
Right.
And that's up to them, because the whole thing is this: if you're doing shows, it's like you said, if they really have a fan base, they should be able to sell those tickets. If they don't have a fan base within that time, they need to create a fan base. They need to use this social media platform and everything else, and create their fan base. If they don't get back, if they come to you and say, "Hey, I didn't make that much money," well, explain to them, well, you know what you need to do. You have to get out there or utilize your service more as a promoter. So if you're doing promotion where you can help them, you work out a deal with them. So,
right.
But and then let me say something about doing those shows too. It goes back to what Jazzy was saying, and myself. If your paperwork isn't done right, they could be. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jazzy, or when they perform a song, they're supposed to notify ASCAP or BMI, and for they can get paid, right? So
I agree.
If they're not doing all that, so they have to have all their paperwork in line. They could get paid from that, but it has to be a show, a legitimate show. The ASCAP's going to come and send someone out and say, "Okay, you performed that song," you know, however it works. But they have to build up a fan base. Everything has to be in line. You know, if you're just doing a show to do a show, just sing and perform, that's what you're doing. But if you have your paperwork in line, your sound scan, your BMI, your management, you need management. You have everything in line, you're going to make your money. You know? Right. So, but the easiest way, get 200 tickets. You know? They sell 100 go to the venue, and the rest of the 100 is theirs. And everything else that come to the door is yours. If the person doesn't haven't purchased a ticket. I used to do shows at my shop.
Yeah, I know. That was a ball. It was a blast.
Yeah, and I used to make money.
Yeah.
I would make, let's just put it this way, I would make money and the artist would make money.
Or any issues in that, because any show that I do, everybody's going to want to jump on it regardless, because I'm bringing radio, I'm bringing media, I'm bringing that. But what about the ones that are saying, how do I get...
Well, everything, hold up. Everything that you're saying that you put on there, they need to promote that. The radio station is going to be there. Woo! They need to promote it. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. You're going to do your part to promote, but they need to promote. What happens with these artists? If they're not already in the full company or signed or whatever, they're under the impression that somebody's going to do everything for them. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
You know, you're not raising children. You know, even with a child, you show a child something to do and they go do it. At least my son does.
And another thing, tell them when they come, they come perform at your event, tell them no damn guest list. Sometimes they bring more people put on the guest list. They bring that's gonna pay to see them perform. So tell them unless you're gonna be on stage performing, no damn guest list. That means your mother, father, aunt, cousin, homies gotta pay, you know. And then tell them only the people performing go on stage. I get tired. I get invited.
Everybody must pay.
See people perform, and it's so unprofessional. And it's a lot of well-known artists that do it. But if I'm gonna pay for a ticket to come to a concert, I don't want to see 50,000 people other than the person I paid to come to the stage, lip singing the song, taking their shirt off with styrofoam cups. That's hey, and you lose opportunity because you don't know who is in that crowd that came to see you. You know what? Like I said, it's 10% talent and 90% business. You might have somebody that could put you in a position to get a good endorsement deal, to put your music in the first come there because they are impressed with your stage performance. And when you invite industry people to come to
burritos or something.
they coming to see you perform, not your homeboys lip singing your song and 50,000 people on stage. Artists got to stop doing that. It's not entertaining to me. That's just my opinion. Start educating the artists. Start educating the artists. If you come to perform, your crowd and your fan base is coming to see you perform. They don't want to see all your homies on stage trying to outshine you. You know, that's my thing. No guest list. People get mad. I mean, unless it's a well-known artist, you know, don't hit me up with a 20-person or 30-person guest list and only 5 people pay to come see you.
Right.
Exactly.
Even a major artist, when they do their concert, they don't have a guest list. Only their manager and maybe a couple of employees of the record label would be there, and that's rare.
What happens is,
no, they have.
Go ahead, Jess. They have a guest list, but what happens is that venue makes them makes the label buy tickets. So the tickets have to deal with the people. So if the guy wants to have a guest list, if he got 200 people that want to come to the show, he needs to buy 200 tickets and give it to them for free. So the label buys the tickets and gives it to the people and takes care of that. The venue doesn't suffer, believe me.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
and they go.
When you're dealing with big promotion companies, they definitely, because see, look at it. If you got Live Nation and Live Nation know they're going to make their money back with a Drake or Lil Wayne. So they do have, but you look at it, those are big artists. They definitely have a big Live Nation. You know, the big promotion company is going to give a certain amount. They just come and act Lil Wayne and think they on the way up. And I say that to say that homie that always be on the guest list or that's at the hollering that person's name to come get them in, those are the ones that got to stand at the front stage and make it look good for when managers and investors come to see these people perform. You got to make it look good. If all the people on stage, when the crowd, something's not right. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Hold that thought right there, gentlemen. And you guys have expanded that really, really well. I want to get on a couple of people because I'm gonna try to get y'all out of here in another 15 minutes or so. But I want to touch on this cat, and we got somebody coming through here by way of Clubhouse. Angel, you know I love you. Hold tight, don't move. All right, I got my man DJ Quest on from Clubhouse. Quest, what's going on, man?
What's going on?
What's up, man? What's the deal, man?
Not much, man. Not much. I was just listening in, and we was talking about the artists and stuff. Jazzy's the one who sent me. I go by DJ Kez out in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I had an event not too long ago, an all-white affair. We booked AMBJ to come out and perform and stuff like that. And I was just listening in what you guys were saying, you know, and we didn't have a guest list going, but he brought like 30 people with him. And all 30 people just walked in with him.
Wow.
So it just kind of like brought back, you know, the memory of it. I was just like, man, that could have been like, you know, a lot of money. I'm just learning, you know, how strict you guys are on, like, you know, with everybody having to pay. And that's something that, like, you know, I'm working on with my events as well. Because, you know, I throw like a lot of underground parties and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I was just getting the knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, one thing I was going to implement for our shows, I was going to print out tickets without prices on them. I was going to charge the artist what I needed to cover my costs, and then have the artist take the ticket and sell them at any price they want to sell them, because there's going to be no price code on it. They can sell a ticket for $100, they can sell it for $1, or they can give it away for free. It was on them. And like I was telling a lot of artists when I was going to do that, I said, remember, if you sell a ticket for $100, you better give them a $100 performance. You know, if you're going to give it away for free, then you ain't got to worry about your performance that much because it was free for them to get in. But either way, look at it, My cost was covered because there wasn't no value on the ticket. I wasn't going to write down $10 or $20 on the ticket. And I was going to leave that blank. I told the artist, you pay me this amount for these many tickets, and you can sell the tickets for whatever price you want to sell them for, because you're selling it to your fan base. And people that buying tickets from you know you. If you don't perform right, they're going to come after you. They're not going to come after me.
So what do you all think about that? Is that a good strategy? And then we'll bring in Jason in just a moment. What do y'all think about that? What name you just proposed? Is that good or bad?
I mean,
Oh, go ahead, Jess.
No, I think anybody. I mean, in the music, man, you got to think outside the box, man. Like,
right?
You know, people laughed at me when I used to at my events raffle. I won't say I was the first one, but I had never seen anybody at a music event raffle a TV. You know, not only did I make money, I raffled off. And people laughed because they didn't understand. I'm always a forward thinker. I raffled off beach cruisers. I raffled off skates. And sometimes at my event, I have 3 raffles in that one night. Sometimes I would make more off the raffle than I made at my door. So I would be wrong to you. I didn't agree. You have in the music business, it's constantly changing. So you have to come up with different ideas and think outside the box. So I'm with that 100%. You know.
No, that's true. Yeah, I used to do setups at my show due to the fact that out here, you know, marijuana is legal, and I had a back area. You could buy a setup. With a setup, you get a roller, you get the grinder and everything. You wanted a little setup at the door when you purchased to get in. The setup was $10. Everybody wanted a setup. I was only charging $5 to get in, $10 for the setup. People was buying setups like, man, you know what I'm saying? But you're right. You got to be creative.
Yeah,
you have to be creative. And as far as you saying with the tickets, with no price on it, I agree with that 100%. Because at the end of the day, it's up to the artist to bring back what the venue wants. After that, you can work whatever. And then at the same time, these artists, they got these so-called fans and friends talking about, I'm here to support you. The artists need to let them know, you're not supporting me. You're hindering me if you don't want to pay to get in. You're a hinder. You're not a supporting system. You're here. You're in the way. You're possibly going to cause a problem because you got in free. So you got a little extra money to buy a drink, and you may not know how to act. Now you just messed it up for me. So that's a hinder. That's not a support.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, let's bring in Jason. Jason, what's going on, man? How you doing? Unmute your mic.
Hey, what's up? How you guys doing? I'm listening to what you guys are saying, and well, my name is Jason Strickler. I run the Cave LA. It's a recording studio, and I have 4 artists that are signed to my label for publishing, as you guys were mentioning.
What city you say you're from?
I'm from the Valley, so I rep
okay.
Yeah.
That's for those who listen to us on YouTube. That's in LA County.
Yes, San Fernando Valley.
You're right. Down in the valley, where it's hot.
Okay, so what's you got 4 artists you're working with right now.
Yeah.
So what's going on with them? You got any questions in regards to them, or are they out, or what's up with them?
Well, they're all at actually different levels in their artist development. I have 2 who are a little bit more secure with like their sound and the way that they make their music. I have another one who's working directly with an engineer to develop an EP, and I have someone who's kind of a little bit more on his own. He likes to take hold of like everything. So, I mean, right now, I wanted to ask about the registering the tracks. I know about BMI. How does that work? Because I've actually never done this before. I'm only 25, and I've been running the studio for 3 years. And so I really just want to know, like, what does that licensing process look when it comes to, you know, the music product at the end of the day?
I think Ben, we've been doing a lot of talking. Let Ben answer that.
Yeah, that's more his expertise.
Okay. Well, whatever I leave out, Jazzy can fill in the blanks, I guess. But when somebody writes a song, like when an artist writes a song, let's just say it's one artist writes a song and they did the words, music, rap, all of it. They're the songwriter 100%, and that means they're also the publisher 100%. Because when you're a writer, you are a publisher, but you can actually give your publishing away or part of it to somebody else, like a publishing company like Universal Music, or even like you with your label. You could have a publishing division. When you sign artists, they could give you a piece of the publishing. It's called a co-publishing deal. And then you become the administrator, and then you can go and file the registrations with BMI or ASCAP or the Copyright Office, because you're what's called the administrator. But that would have to be some kind of written agreement where they're like, yeah, well, I'll split the publishing with you, and then you're in charge of it. Otherwise, the artist has the duty to take care of all that themselves. I mean, a manager could do it for them, but just as a favor, essentially. But they really don't have the authority to be calling themselves, to really be registering things unless they have some kind of, they're either the publisher or the administrator, or the artist does it. So are they expecting you to do that kind of stuff for them, Jason?
Yeah, I think they might be.
Well, just get something in writing, either where you're authorized to either as a manager or some kind of administrator, or you're actually a co-publisher with them, which you might want to be. I mean, if you're helping them develop their career and putting money and time into them, and they make money off their songs, most people these days would want to, share in that because they help develop it. But that would have to be in some kind of written document.
Right.
It's usually called a co-publishing agreement. But it could just be a publishing administration thing where somebody's just letting you take charge of the music. They'll give you some kind of percentage of what it's made, but you don't really own it. They're just making you kind of like the agent to represent it.
Okay.
Because I learned as a writer back in the day, when you have a composition, the composition splits in half automatically. Writer, publisher. Publishers get 50%, writers get 50%.
Yeah.
If you say you 4 writers, you guys will split the 50% on the writer side, and your publishing company is going to own the other 50% automatically. So actually, you guys as 4 writers, I'm going to say go with 2 writers, make it easy, not better. 2 writers, they're getting 25% of that composition because they're splitting the 50%. The publisher has the other 50%. He owns 100% of that 50%. So publishing has a little bit more weight, a little bit more, whatever you want to call it, authority over the composition, because they're not splitting their side with nobody. You're splitting your side with your co-writer. If it's 3 writers, it's even getting split more on your side. Meanwhile, the publisher's still going to stay 50%. Meanwhile, the writers are splitting into the other 50%. If there's 10 writers on one composition, they're splitting 50% of that composition with each other. They're splitting 50%. Meanwhile, the publishing has the whole 100% of their 50%. That's the reason why Jabet Music, Motown back in the day, Berry Gordy, he owned Jabet. And the fact he was so good, he didn't have his artists write no song. He had writing team, production team to take care of all that. Singers just came in and do what they're supposed to do. Sung what they were given. And that's why those compositions are classics today. I'm going to go out on a limb and say a lot of artists don't know how to write music, lyrically speaking. They don't know how to write. A lot of this stuff don't make sense. That's the reason why I see that a lot of artists now are one-time wonders. You cannot think of an artist's name. I'm gonna say, can anybody could tell me 10 artists that were on top back in 2000? Can you think of 5 artists that were out in 2000 that is out now?
Well, you know what? Maybe they can't name those 10, but I think somebody on IG might at least be able to name one of them. My man Lamont, World Movement. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing?
Yeah, you're supposed to be on this panel, man. What's going on with you today?
Oh, well, hey, I'd reached out for Miller earlier, and I just didn't get all the information on time. I guess that's what it was. We'll blame it on a technical thing.
Okay, say what's up. We got Jazzy, Sam, Ben. We're here today. What's going on?
What's up, everybody? I was wondering if I heard my old friend Ben McLean. You know, I guess I tune into certain voices. I was wondering if that who I was listening to.
That's Lamont taught. Yeah,
Patterson. Yeah.
Yeah. And DJ Spin. Say what's up to DJ Spin too.
What's up, DJ Spin? I'm not sure if we met, but how you doing today? It's a pleasure.
Okay, so Lamont, you heard what we just been talking about right now. So tell us your 2 cents on it.
Well, I mean, I didn't get all the conversation, man. 'Cause I just joined here recently, man, and I was trying to, pick up on the topic, man. So I would hate to interject something totally to the left field. So if you give me a moment to, or at least tell me what the initial topic was, since I joined the show late.
Well, basically,
You
we
know.
we, we, we kind of been all over the place, but we have a
This is
person
a
by the name
round
of,
table.
yeah, we have a person by the name of Jason. He has a record company. Well, he has a production company, and he's working with 4 artists, and he wants to know as far as going about to get their music copyrighted and all that good stuff. So I wonder if you can share a little bit about the process, at least on your view.
Hire Ben McLean. He knows all. He knows all the good stuff.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Hire Ben McLean, because we
Yeah,
go way back. Well, without
it's
dating ourselves, man. But a great person to work with, man. And I'm just glad to be here with all you guys, man. And I salute everything that you're doing to help the independent music community. I mean, we can never, ever, ever get enough of that. And I think I had a conversation earlier with Miller. We was talking about a lot of these young artists. When they come out, the first thing they holler at you is, they need management. And I'm trying to figure out, I mean, what you got to manage, you know? But they need to find out, what roles are, what people do, what their job description are, and what comes underneath those things. They need to prepare themselves. But anyway, man, I mean, that's just like my little 2 cents. And
Yeah.
you guys doing great work, man.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Well, you doing great work as well. We know that already.
I like it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna make this
I quit.
announcement.
Hey, look, I quit every
Go ahead.
day. So I'm sure any other listeners out there that have a record label that came up in the industry, such as myself, being an artist, a producer, a manager, having a label, and now being an actor. But I quit every day. But I start back the next day because I don't know how to do nothing else.
Well, you know what, Lamont, it's kind of funny you brought that up because that's going to be our last question. We're going to stop at that one right there. Someone texted me and just asked that very question: how to structure a record company. So I might need everybody to expand on that on our way out the door. And Lamont, let's start with you. How do you structure a record company?
Man, look, I don't know if you got enough time for that one because for me, I started out as
That's a
an artist,
lot.
so I had to wear that hat first. In all honesty, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I
Yeah.
had to learn from the ground up. I was in the trenches, so I just didn't come out of somebody's school or academy and just say, one day I want a record label. It wasn't that way. It was a transition. It was a growth process, and I'm sure that Ben could definitely know that because he knew me when I was really trying to learn what I was doing. But it was on the job training. So I would probably tell somebody the first thing to do before they try to jump out and try to have a label, work with somebody that has a label. Get
Yeah.
some on the job training. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
So especially now, since the whole record industry is a whole lot different. We don't have one stops and record stores on every corner, and it don't take a week or two to send some music across the pond. You can
Nope.
do it in less than 15 seconds.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the whole industry is completely different. So I would tell everybody, for me, crawl before you try to learn how to walk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Jazzy, go ahead and speak your 2 cents on that. How should I take this guy on how he should start his label and with the
Well,
structure of it?
he was absolutely right. We can go on and on with that, but I would say first when you structuring it, like Ben said earlier, lock in the name, lock in the name. So somebody's it's a lot of noise. Somebody need to mute their
Yeah, a lot of people are muting. I don't know who it is. I've muted
a
only
lot.
everybody except for you. There you go. Let's see. We'll try that out.
It was a lot of okay. Yeah, I would say once you decide what name you're gonna roll with, lock that name in. Uh, uh, you know, and start branding. Branding the label. Get you some good artists. That's not liabilities. You know, get the talent, get the music, and also there's a lot of people, just like managers, getting that title. They get a little money, and they say, "I'm going to start an independent label." and then they sign artists. And once again, like we said earlier, the artists don't register their music.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know about publishing.
Right.
And there's a lot of people out there that's saying that they have a label that don't know the business. So first, kind of learn and do your homework and have knowledge of what you're stepping into. You know, that's really important, because I help a lot of people every day, and independent label owners. So they say they have a label and they have artists, but the artist music has never been copywritten. The artist music has never been registered with the PRO. And another thing we didn't touch on, you know, just make sure you learn everything. Some artists, independent labels grab artists and they luck up, and that's a gift and a curse. They stuff get on the radio and they send their stuff to college radio, because college radio report, and the label and the artists even have a manager that don't know what a BDS is, broadcast data system. So, you know, like he said, we can go on and on and on. Yeah. You know, if you don't, we mentioned SoundScan. We're giving a lot of good game on here. Yeah. A lot of managers and artists don't even know what a BDS is. So, you know, I'll stop there, because he was absolutely right. We can go on and on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Can I continue where he stopped?
Yeah, Sam. Now also too, before I go to you, Sam. Okay, Black Beat Magazine said make sure your music has the right metadata released through the United Masters. The put together a decent marketing budget and networking like crazy. Any that you're gonna say, Sam? Because that was given by Black Beat Magazine. Shout out to them. Go ahead, Sam.
Well, I was gonna continue what Jazzy said, because he mentioned SoundScan, and SoundScan is very important. People under impression. I spoke with somebody before, and they're like, "Oh, SoundScan, that's old school," but SoundScan still exists. And guess what? SoundScan is over now. SoundScan is over all your streaming systems. Everything is streaming, even YouTube. So, and you got to remember, SoundScan deals with numbers, and that's what we're dealing with. It's in the digital game. So, and like I was saying before, you have to make sure that your music is registered. You have to do your paperwork. That's like a major part of having a label. If you're not doing the paperwork, you're not a label. You're just somebody saying you're a label. And a lot of this stuff, it only takes a minute. You know, even when you nowadays you have to have it would be great if you created a website. You know, even though you have these social media platforms, but you want to take those social media platforms and direct them right back to you, for you to have their attention and only your attention. Right. So when you create your website for your label or as an artist, you want to make sure that everything is set up there also. You know, I work with people with their websites, and, you know, I tell them, I'm like, hey, look, I'm going to set this up. Tell me, what do you want to put on it? I start setting all that up. And then I tell them, you have to take care of this part. And it's usually the money part, where they have to pay for this, that, and that. When it gets to that part, they don't want to take care of that part. So guess what? Their website never exists. So, but I just want to touch bases on that, because that's part of having a record label.
Okay. Ben, go ahead and speak on that.
Yeah, well, the metadata is really important these days, because everything's digital, everything's online, and the more information that you have, like who the artist is, their name, the proper spelling, who the producer is, their name, the proper spelling, who the mixer is, who the band members are, who the featured guest is. If you're doing a rap with a guest feature, you need to have who the songwriters are, their names, are they with BMI ASCAP? That's what metadata is. It's information. And you want, the more of that you have when you release something, it's easier for people to find you and for everybody to get paid, because that's the bottom line. Everybody wants to get paid and credited properly. So that's the big movement now. And it's really important to make sure you have all that stuff solidified and written down. And when you upload something, or if somebody's doing that for you, that they don't leave out that basic information. So I think that, I can't remember what the full question was, but that's what metadata is. And that's really important these days, to take care of all that. And you'll be happy you did, because you'll get paid.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you register, like with BMI or SoundScan or any of these other or any of these platforms, they're going to demand all that anyway. There's all these cells for that. You know, if you went to TuneCore, even they'd ask for all that stuff when you start registering titles. They ask for all that stuff. So the more the info you give them, the better.
Okay, all right.
And I just want to just say this too, because I'm kind of like Jazz. I'm speaking on what I do, but I'm kind of talking around it because I can't give up $1 million worth of game for free.
Right.
So
Right.
And that's why we kind of going around here. So I make sure you guys are not giving up $1 million game for free. And speaking of the free game, we're gonna stop the free game right here. Okay. I said I was gonna have you guys only here for an hour and a half, and we're rounding near the hour and a half mark right now. So no more free game. All right. So Sam,
That's that part.
So we're gonna start with you, Sam. Go ahead, tell everybody where to find you in case they want to give you that check and let you get paid, and take it from there. So go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, just it's just go to my website, midnightrecords1.com. Once you go on there, you can notify me. You can hit me from there. You'll see a little chat box at the bottom, or you can also register your information on there. I can contact you. But when you hit me, it'll go directly to my phone, and I'll get right back to you, and we can start from there.
Okay, it's all good. Ben, let everybody know where to find you in case they want to sit down and have a consultation with you.
Yeah, well, thanks for listening, everybody, and having me on here again. So the easiest way to find me is just my website. Everything's there. All my, my email and my social media contacts and information about what I do and my address and all that. But that's benmclane.com, BENMCLANE.com, or if you Google my name, you'll find me too. And just a quick plug here. I wrote a book a couple of years ago called Music Business in 10 Easy Lessons, which you can find on Amazon. And it's pretty cheap, but it's good information for entry-level people. Just the things that I found that kept coming up over and over and over again on how you break into the business, what you need to do. A lot of the things we talked about today are in there.
Okay, sounds good. How can they find that book?
It's on Amazon. It's either a paperback or a digital download, either one.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Jazzy, let them know where to find you in case they want to sit down with you.
They can hit me up by my email, the number 4, jazzymanagement@gmail.com. Social media @jazzymanagement, spelled out.
Okay.
And definitely here to help people register, get the copyrights and registration right. It seemed like I've been doing that more than anything because there's thousands of artists that's leaking when it comes to that. So get at me because there's a lot of you artists out there that's not registering your music properly or copywriting your music, and I can help you.
Okay. All right, that's what's up. Trey, DJ Spin, let them know what's up, where to find you, and where you spinning that next. DJ Spin.
He's still busy.
He stepped away. Okay.
Yeah, he's still there, but he stepped away.
Okay, it's all good. Lamont, let them know where to find you.
I'm right here.
Oh, here he is.
There he is. Okay, go ahead, Spin.
I had to do my little vaccine there.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's all good.
Okay.
I forgot you gave me a shot. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
What's good?
Let them know where to find you real quick. We're about to wrap up. We out of here. Let them know where to find
Oh,
you. Where
okay.
you spinning at, and everything else.
Okay, so IG, just DJ Spin, DEEJAYSPINN. Facebook, Trayvon, DJ Spin Young. Those are my main two I'm on mostly.
Okay, that's what's up. All right, Lamont, let them know where to find you, man.
Hey, Lamont Patterson at worldmovement.com. Website, worldmovement.com. Lamont at worldmovement.com. You could even Google Lamont Patterson. My stuff will come up. And can I beg right now while we're on the air, man? I want an autographed copy, Ben.
Go ahead.
Lamont wants an autographed copy of your book, Ben. I can't hear you, Ben. What you say? I'll mute your mic, Ben.
I'll mute your mic.
No, Lamont taught me the business, so he deserves it.
Oh, okay. Sounds
Right.
good.
In
Sounds
that
good.
case,
They
in
don't
that
they
case,
know.
I want to give me an autograph book.
Yeah, yeah, I'll take one
Yeah,
as
That's right.
well.
I learned everything else from MD.
I
Yeah.
think we all need
Yeah,
one of them books.
right. I learned everything from you.
Yeah. All right, Angel, let them know in case you want to do some shows. Let them know where to find you.
Okay, you can find me at Angels Clubhouse, Angels Clubhouse Empire, because I just upgraded. You can Google me, you can Facebook me, you can Instagram me, you can tweet me, you can find me on Tag. I'm on everything. I'm looking for everybody. And you can catch me at Angels Clubhouse '06 at gmail.com if you like. Or you can check out my podcast on tomorrow, which is For the Love of Music podcast. It's on Archer and Spotify. And if you look up any other sites, I'm sure you're gonna find me.
Okay, that's what's up. Now you got that information. Now, Jason and Tay Rizzle, uh, you guys were our guests today. You guys anything before we go, before we get off? Jason and Tay Rizzle, anything from you two? You're our special guests. Okay. All right. If you guys do have
Oh,
anything,
I
please
just
feel.
say I just
okay.
wanted to say
Go
thank you.
ahead.
Oh, go ahead,
You
Jason.
guys are providing a lot of valuable information, and I'm definitely gonna.
Okay. And if you got any other questions or anything, Jason and Tay Rizzo, please feel free to DM me, and I'll pass it on to any of the panelists we had today. All right. Now,
Okay.
just to let
And
just to let everybody know, we did this today. We may have another one coming, but this is a big prelude for what we're doing later on. COVID preventing COVID. If COVID let us have us, is we're
yeah.
doing the Industry Connects, the actual music seminar where we're all physically in one spot like we normally are. So this is just a little sample, a little taste of what we have coming up in the near future. But we'll do another webinar coming up soon. I see this is very powerful, it's very valuable, and we need to do this because people seem to like this. I see a lot of buzz going on the background here, and we didn't get to everybody's questions. So next time we may have some other folks on here to take this thing to the next level. But I want to personally thank each and every one of you guys for coming through. You guys got our backs, panelist wise. Sam, Ben, Spin, Jazzy, Lamont, Angel. I want to thank you guys personally from the bottom of my heart, man, because you guys literally saved the day as usual. And I want to thank you guys for taking time out your busy schedules to just be a part of this today. All right, and
also to make the announcement,
definitely go ahead,
we
MD.
we have scheduled the Industry Connects, the physical one,
Hey, baby.
October the 30th.
Hey.
If the COVID pandemic is over with, if they could let us go ahead and do it, but we already have booked the show for October the 30th. Also, we're going to try to do our first national music awards for independent artists that's been played on the radio show and their affiliates radio shows across the country. We already started the nomination of a lot of artists that's been played for the last 6 months, and hopefully that would turn out good. We're going to call the music awards the IUMAs, and that's spelled IUMA apostrophe S, meaning the Independent Urban Music Awards. So we hope we can make that work for artists, because we want to honor the artists and producers that put their hard work into this independent music industry, and hopefully that we can make this an annually event for years to come. So you can start emailing the radio show for a pass for the physical Industry Connect at the Civic Center in Carson, California. And that's again Civic Center at Carson, California. We're gonna have a lot of more information for you where you can get reservation, a hotel, the DoubleTree Hotel right across the street from the facility. So we want to make a big shebang out of it. We want everybody, all the artists, producers, labels to come out, purchase their passes, and come and listen to these. I'm gonna say these same gentlemen that you guys heard today. We're gonna bring them to the forefront. So we're gonna make them our official advisors of the music business, especially within the independent urban music industry. So that's it for me. I'm MD. Hopefully that you check us out every Monday night or Tuesday morning if you're on the East Coast at 9 and 12 midnight, live broadcast that we do on 900 AM in Los Angeles. And we're also live on YouTube where we show the videos. We just don't play music. We play videos too.
Yeah,
So if you artists are ready for the big time, we're here. Looking for a manager? We got Jackie. Looking for an attorney? We got Ben. You're looking for a DJ? We got Spin. You're looking for another artist, another label? We got Rizzle. So we got Sam. He's a retailer. He was in retail business for music for more than 25 years. So now he's doing it online, and he can get you paid if you got your situation right. Can't get you paid if you're not right, but if you're right, he can get you paid.
Everybody, now we're gonna get you the links to this event. You guys get the links. You can send it out to all your folks if you like. This will also be airing on our Roku and our Amazon Fire channels as well. Also, the audio now done will be airing on iHeart, Spotify, and all those good platforms also. All right. So also we do have the wrap up virtual show coming up. It'll be coming up a little later today, immediately after this. So those of you that's checking us out on all the platforms, please feel free to be a part of that. Performances by Tay Rizzo, Easy Boy,
Young Mike,
Young
Thunder.
Thunder, and also we're missing LA Bandit as well. So all four of them will be performing a little later today during the virtual wrap up show with me and MD.